During the 5Ds era, Konami decided to create an archetype completely centered around the concept of anti-meta. The archetype actually failed quite spectacularly, and only a few of its main cards actually got used. Uh, whereas, like Guardian, Sandman, and Wall for Rock Stun, and Urnite for the toolbox. I've decided to take one of the engines and combine it with the Shaddoll engine because the Earth component is pretty simple to get to, and the deck has some really good access to some really good Exceed monsters. So we're going to start with the 3 copies of Koa'ki Meiru Urnite. Urnite is pretty good for 3 main reasons. First of all, it's a Beast Warrior, so you can be searched off of Tenki. It's got 2k attack, and once per turn, it's not a hard once per turn, so if you have multiples, you can activate them all. You can reveal the Iron Core of Koa'ki Meiru in your hand to special summon a level 4 lower Koa'ki Meiru from your deck. It makes a majority of the monsters pretty summonable and easy to bring out. It provides you from all kinds of rank 4 plays and even some really cool effects if you play them right. So, and it's a 2k beater. And the only problem is that all the Koa'ki Meirus, or at least all the good ones, all have the clause where you have to discard an Iron Core or reveal a monster or card of a particular type. In this case, it's a Beast Warrior. So, his best friend is Koa'ki Meiru Crusader, and when he runs something over in battle, he adds a Koa'ki Meiru card from graveyard to hand. So it's a reverse recruiter from the graveyard, which is cool. And he's 1900 beater, and he has the same reveal and discard effect as Urnite. So they pretty much pay for their own effects. And because he's a Beast Warrior, you can make some really cool Exceed monsters when you do. 2 monsters you might see are Koa'ki Meiru Drago and Koa'ki Meiru Tornado. They both deal with very similar things, and that is special summon monsters or monsters of a particular attribute being special summoned. This Drago is essentially a barrier statue for light and dark monsters. And he's a 1900 beater, however, you have to reveal a dragon, so either you have to play more of this or you just use its attack like a floodgate. And Tornado hits every special summon monster by top decking the Iron Core, and he's the only Koa'ki Meiru in this main deck that does not require the Iron Core to be discarded or have a reveal cost. So, hence why his attack is a little bit lower for a level 4 for the archetype. The average is about 19 for a level 4. The last 2 monsters are 1 copy of Brotherhood of Fire Fist Bear for the Tenkis and the Tensu. It is something that you can search, especially if you already have your play. You can search this and have something to out problem cards. And then the last card is the 1 copy of Blackwing Zephyros, the Elite, which in combination with the Shaddoll engine can bounce Tenkis, Urnites, and other dead cards to effectively bring out monsters for rank 4 plays. For the Shaddoll component, we're not playing Mathematician, so because the engine is a little bit smaller than you think. 2 Squamata, because it's any other Shaddoll, so you don't technically need to play 2 or even 3 copies of all of them, just the ones that really make sense. 2 Beast, because who doesn't want a free draw, especially since, for the most part, you're going through so many cards in the deck anyway to begin with. The last 2 is 2 copies of Shaddoll Falco, and it's mostly because he's a tuner, and also he recurs stuff back from the graveyard, which is cool. And then we play 1 Hedgehog. You actually want to send this off of the Shaddoll Fusion for making Shekinaga or Grista, because it automatically gets you the Beast or the Falco or whatever you need to make to get their effects live. And then the 1 Dragon, because it's an MST. That's all the monsters. For spells, we're playing 3 copies of Diamond Core Koa'ki Meiru. This card basically made it so we can search the dead spell, but also can search all the monsters, which is really cool. Speaking of the spell, 2 copies of Iron Core Koa'ki Meiru. Diamond Core's second effect, by the way, is you can banish it from the graveyard to prevent all your Koa'ki Meirus from being destroyed, which is cool because it also covers their end phase. When you can't pay for their cost, they self-destruct, but you can cover it with this instead, which is cool. Iron Core is this really dead spell. In some decks that play Desires, you pretty much have to search this card out before you do anything. This card does nothing, but it has to be the reveal or the discard cost for practically every card in the archetype, so you kind of have to play it. Before Diamond Core came out, you had to play 3 of it because you had to hard draw it, which is not ideal. But now with Diamond Core out, you don't have to play 3 copies of it. You just need to draw into it, or an Urnite and 1 Diamond Core to basically get to it. Next, we're playing 3 Fire Formation Denki to search out our Urnites, or Bear if we need it, and the 1 Tensu, just in the event that you open up something and you're like, I need to Tensu out the Bear or something like that. It just gives you some plays, and it's something to search off the Tiger King when you make it. The Shaddoll spells are 3 fusion, because who doesn't want to feature fusion when your opponent has an extra deck monster, and you can send some certain cards to make plays. 2 El Shaddoll fusion, because it's good for OTKs and it can be used in your opponent's turn, so to dodge effects and stuff. 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice. This is cool because you can use this against certain decks like ABC to force the Buster, or it could also be used offensively to make your Urnites 24, or even Shekinaga 3K, which is cool. The 1 instant fusion, you use it to get the Winda, and then you fuse with it, and then you get your Shaddoll spell back to your hand, and then you can bring it back with Falco, which is cool. The 1 foolish, because you can't play Mathematician because your normal summon has to be committed to the Urnite, but you can play foolish and send like a Squamata or something and still get its effects. So for traps, we're only playing 4, and that's 2 Call to Haunted, because bringing back our fusions, our Urnites for more plays and stuff like that is pretty cool. 1 Jar of Avarice to recycle our engine, because that goes to Emerald's banned, and the 1 copy of Shaddoll Core because it's something to send off the Squamata. The extra deck is a little bit weird. We don't play Mrs. Radiant because when you attempt to do so, the only reason you would do that is to make multiple fusions, and you're very limited to the number of fusions you can actually make, so it's really not that beneficial to do so, and most times you're trying to make a rank 4 than anything else. So we're playing 2 Winda, 1 to summon off the instant fusion, and another to actually hard make. You actually want to be making the Shekinagas more than anything else, only 2 of it. You don't need 3. You can if you want, but the fact that it can negate monster effects is pretty cool, and it can trigger Shaddoll effects. So, and its 3k body is pretty good. So, the 1 Grista, this is in the event that you have that Tiger King that's pretty much done nothing, it's all out of material, or you have the Bear that's already used its effect to pop something. For the seeds, we're playing 1 Tiger King, just something to make, especially if you're going first. It's something to make to search for another Urnite to make plays for next turn. The 1 Kagasuchi, this is cool. It's mill 5, triggers all of the Shaddolls. So you mill 5, you mill like a Shaddoll, Squamata, or Beast, or something like that. You get their effects, and it's pretty cool. The 1 Honor Arc, this is cool against Link monsters. Against a Firewall that's already gone off, it just eats it. Because all the Link monsters have to be in attack mode, and they're all special summoned, so you can eat them as long as that. The 1 Crooked Cook, because you can, for the most part, you're only really playing 1 or 2 cards at a time. You don't play a lot of back row in the stack, and any continuous cards that you have, like the tankies and stuff like that, don't need to stay on the field, so you just nuke and this card just stays alive. The 1 Diamond Dire, this has good interaction with Diamond Core, because if you target a Urnite or a Crusader that's protected under Diamond Core, they don't die, so you get it acts like a Scrap Dragon that can't destroy a card, so you get free pops for a turn. 1 Master Key Beetle, because of Death Zephyros, and every once in a while you'll summon a Squamata. The 1 Black Ship, 1 Dark Rebellion to getting over big monsters, 1 Carrying Gorgon for anti-targeting, and the 1 Black Rose. This is just for the Falco, in case you have to nuke. So, I like this deck, for the most part. It's a really cool concept, and I hope to bring other variants of the deck, and plus I love putting Shaddolls into practically everything until Construct comes back off the list, or until its Link monster comes out later on, sometime next year for the TCG. But So I hope you all enjoy, and let me know what you think of the deck in the comments below. Thank you for your time.